Good morning children. How are you all? We were discussing the chapter acids, bases and salts. We have discussed about different indicators and their color change. Today we are going to learn what will happen if an acid is mixed with a base. Whenever we are mixing an acid with a base, new substances are formed. A reaction is taking place over there. Such a reaction is called neutralization reaction. Such a reaction is called neutralization reaction. So neutralization is a reaction in which an acid is reacting with a base. Or in other words, we can say a base is reacting with an acid. That is, the reaction between an acid and a base is called neutralization reaction. When an acid is reacted with a base, what will be formed? Then new substances called salt and water are formed. This is the reaction taking place. That is, acid is reacting with base to give salt and water. Here you will be knowing that what is salt. You are familiar with certain salts. You are familiar with common salt, then baking soda and some other salts are familiar to you. Okay, and along with the salt, water is formed. Depending on the acid and base, the salt formed will be different. But water will be formed in common. In this reaction, heat is also evolved. After this reaction, if you are touching the vessel in which the reaction is taking place, we can find that it is having a small rise in temperature. That is, heat is also evolved in this reaction. Okay, so that is neutralization reaction. We will be discussing about a neutralization reaction between sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. Two substances known to you. Hydrochloric acid is an acid, sodium hydroxide is a base. What will happen if we are combining them together? Then it will be reacting to form salt and water. Okay, let's see this experiment. To understand the reaction, normally you all know the sodium hydroxide as well as hydrochloric acid, both are colorless. So if they are combining together, how can you understand something happened over there? To understand it in a better way, we will be using phenolphthalein indicator also. Okay, let's move on to the experiment. I am taking some hydrochloric acid in a test tube. See, you can see hydrochloric acid is here. Now I am going to add some phenolphthalein into it. See, it is phenolphthalein indicator. I am adding a drop of it into this hydrochloric acid. Is there any color change? Why there is no color change? Because phenolphthalein does not give any color change with an acid. Now I am going to add some sodium hydroxide into another test tube. Okay, now I am going to add a single drop of phenolphthalein into it. Okay, you can see the color change to pink. It is because sodium hydroxide is a base. Bases give pink color with phenolphthalein. Okay, now I am going to mix some acid into this sodium hydroxide containing phenolphthalein. Let's see what will happen. I am taking some hydrochloric acid using a dropper, going to add it drop by drop. Let's shake and see. Nothing happened. See, with a single drop its color disappeared. So something happened over there. That is why the color disappeared. Isn't it? So let's check it with a with some more drop of hydrochloric sodium hydroxide into it. See, again the color appeared. So here what is happening? It is hydrochloric acid is reacting with sodium hydroxide. When we are adding each drop of hydrochloric acid into the sodium hydroxide solution, it is getting reacted with each other and getting neutralized. When all the sodium hydroxide get mixed or reacted, the excess hydrochloric acid is found over there, which does not show any color change. Okay, then when we add little more sodium hydroxide, again neutralization takes place. Then excess of sodium hydroxide is seen or show the color of the indicator. See what is happening in between sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. It is hydrochloric acid is reacting with sodium hydroxide and it is giving two new substances. The salt formed over here is sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is a familiar thing to you. Do you know what is it? It is common salt, the salt that you are using in your home. And along with that, water is formed, and it is a reaction in which heat is also evolved. And now you will be having a doubt, like when we are mixing this sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid, we does not see any salt formed over there. It is because sodium chloride is a soluble substance, and along with sodium chloride, water is also formed. So it is not seen. Okay, when it is formed, it is already getting dissolved in water. That is why we are not able to see it. Okay, I think it's clear to you. So neutralization reaction of sodium chloride with hydrochloric acid is what we have discussed here. When sodium hydroxide is reacting with hydrochloric acid, it forms salt and water, and that salt formed here is sodium chloride. Okay, when we are changing the acid or base, when we are changing the acid or base, the salt formed also will be different. There are different types of salt around us, and the nature of the salt also depend on the strength of acid and base. So we will be discussing little more about the salts in the next class. Okay, so thank you for listening. Have a nice day.